If you watched my guide on how to play D.Va, you might remember me mentioning these three terms: poke, rush, and dive. But if not, here's a quick reminder. These terms are called team comps. Poke means you slowly poke away at each enemy till they're dead. Rush means that you play very fast and aggressively, getting up in the enemy's face and pressuring them. And dive means you jump on an enemy when there's a golden opportunity. This could be when the support in the backline are isolated or there's an overextended DPS. At the minute, dive comps are a very meta thing to be running in ranked. Other heroes like Ashe and Soldier are becoming popular picks for DPS, but the dive comp meta has changed from running Winston on the tank to running D.Va. F in chat for monkey. The one thing that has stayed the same in the comp is DPS. Sombra, who I've already made a guide on, but I'll have to make another because of the upcoming rework, and Tracer. Tracer is very underrated when it comes to casual players, despite being the poster child of the entire franchise. But I believe that you should learn her because you can actually get a lot of value out of her when diving the backline, even if you're going in alone on the flank. But I'll talk about that later. After this video, you should understand what kind of playstyle you should have with Tracer and generally how to play her a lot more competently. But first, I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. First things first, let's break down her kit. Her guns are two very fast firing automatic pistols which deal a lot of burst damage, especially when you're hitting crits. These are most effective at close range because of the amount of bullet spread they have, so you're going to want to be blinking in and out of combat. You only get 3 blinks, so use them wisely. I tend to reserve a blink, so I always have it just in case I need to fall back at any point. If I don't have any blinks, which is very rarely, I can always fall back with my recall, which heals me back up if I've taken any damage and puts me back where I was a few seconds ago. Don't underestimate this ability, because it can give you a second chance to get a kill or fall back to your team. That's all for Tracer's kit. She can't do much in terms of damage with these, as she's a hero who's very dependent on positioning, hence why all of her abilities are used to position her in different parts of the fight. This leads me on to my first tip on learning how to play Tracer, and that's to learn what positions and angles you should be taking as her. Because all of her abilities revolve around movement, you should be using this to your advantage and playing in the flank, creating the off angle rather than playing with your team. Your guns can do a lot of burst damage onto squishier enemies like Ana in the backline, and your blinks and recall mean that you can stay alive a lot longer than heroes like Ana. Granted, she doesn't sleep and anti-nade you, but in low elo games, this is very unlikely. Still, she might get lucky, so just be careful. When playing Tracer, the game suddenly goes from a 5v5 to a 1v5 because of how much you'll be playing alone on the flank in the enemy's backline. That's where you'll find the most value and free kills, so that's where you should be playing the most. My second tip on learning how to play Tracer is to keep your composure. Don't panic and think about what you want to do and who you need to kill. If you have Pulse Bomb, you're going to want to make it stick to someone to guarantee the kill, so slowly go up to them from behind and stick them. Don't just throw it in their face because they'll just dodge it. That's not to say that you can't do this. You can always blink in and take them by surprise. Either way, go jump scare them. Don't use your blinks all willy-nilly though. Like I said before, you only have 3 of them, so use them wisely. Don't just spam them in panic because you're on the cusp of death. If you die as Tracer because you couldn't get out of a fight, that's a little embarrassing, but at least you know next time to keep your cool and to think about what you're doing. My third tip on learning how to play Tracer is to remember that you can melee to finish off enemies. This is a thing that surprisingly a lot of people forget about, but with Tracer it's a very important thing to remember. Her guns, whilst dealing a lot of damage, don't have a lot of ammo. She's 40 in total, so 20 bullets per gun. Considering how fast this fires and how much spread is on them, this could lead to you not quite getting the kill on your enemy. But if you remember to blink in their face and melee them, you can secure this kill. Granted that they're low enough, because you don't have to reload to melee. You can just do it regardless. Realistically, you should be doing this for every hero if you can, because this extra little bit of damage can go a long way. My fourth and final tip is something that I've mentioned a few times in previous videos. Hell, I even said it last video, and that's to simply change your reticle. Most of the default reticles in Overwatch are pretty bad and can actually hinder your gameplay without you even noticing. You're going to be much more accurate with a reticle that you've made to fit your playstyle, because you're naturally more comfortable playing with the settings that you've set yourself. So changing your reticle to fit what you like is going to make you play a lot better and hit a lot more of your shots. Now this is up to personal preference, as you might prefer something like a crosshair over a dot. With Tracer, I like to use a small crosshair because it allows me to be a lot more precise when I'm rushing the enemy backline, especially when I'm aiming to get crits. But no matter what, always have show accuracy off because it's such a hindrance on your aim due to how much the reticle changes in size when you're firing. It's such a pain in the ass. It isn't even showing anything. Why does it exist? It's not helpful. And that's about it for my guide to learning how to play Tracer. She's actually kind of difficult to play because of how she works. She's all about movement and positioning, so you need to know how to effectively flank and dive the squishier enemies to secure kills. Blink and recall make this easier to do, but it's just remembering not to panic and to use these abilities when you need to. Keep your composure and you'll see yourself coming out on top in no time. She's a very trial and error character. You'll learn a lot by making mistakes, and that's okay. We all have to start somewhere before getting better. You're not just intrinsically gonna be absolutely amazing at everything you do. Hell, there's even players in the Overwatch League that can't play Tracer very well, even though she has one of the highest pick rates in the league. Not that this particularly matters though, because Overwatch League is dead. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining as well. Let me know if you have any requests for other heroes in the comments below and subscribe so you don't miss that guide when it comes out. There are some heroes that I probably won't be able to make a guide on simply because I don't play them enough. But there are many more heroes on the list that I can make guides on than I can't make guides on. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.